Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
In the first section of this module focuses more on historical trends and methods, includes grammar translation method, direct method, audiolingual method, communicative language teaching, and content and language integrated learning. These all are historical trends, method and approaches to learn English language. First, have a look grammar translation method. Grammar translation method is one of the important and first trends or methods of English language teaching. The fundamental objective of this method is to assist student learner to make them aware regarding native speakers' culture and tradition. In addition, it also helps students to develop their reading and writing skills. Besides, this grammar translation method is an efficient way of learning and enhancing vocabulary and various grammatical structures. However, this method has some drawbacks, such as this is wrong idea of understanding language, and it also creates frustration among learners. But those who are a beginner of this language learning, for them it is very useful method to make them to create interest in English language learning. When teacher teach via grammar translation method, he uses certain typical techniques like fill in the blanks, antonym and synonym, comprehension, compositions, use words in sentence, etc. As you all know that when students are learning English language as in a second language and they are not confident to learn, teacher apply this type of a short and small easy grammar and language learning exercise to develop their interest in language learning and make them feel that English is an easy language. On the contrary, in this method is good for the beginners, but when the students' intellectual and technological knowledge is advanced, it is duty of teacher to teach them with latest tools of language learning, and we are here to learn that latest tools of language learning. Second, historical trends in English language teaching and learning is direct method. As we know that many teachers called it as DM. This is another emerging trend to learn English language. This method is also known as natural method. This method has been adopted by the many international schools to focus students' oral skills. The main key characteristics features of these methods are vocabulary through real life objects. So, in this method, students start to learn directly the first word of the English language, not translating there in the mother tongue, but instead of doing translating in a mother tongue, they start to learn that word in the first language only. So, in this method, students are learning vocabulary through real life objects and other visual materials. Many teachers use this method while teaching, and what do they? They demonstrate, they perform act in front of the students, ask questions, allow students to speak as much as they can, and they speak normally and naturally. So when any teacher is using direct method in this classroom, that time student speaks more than the teachers. When teacher teach via direct method, or those who would like to teach with the direct method, they can use certain typical techniques. First, they can allow student to discuss on the any content of the syllabus. In fact, to make them free, teacher can ask to discuss in a group about current issues, current topics, certain, or even teacher can ask to discuss something about movies and politicians, sports, or any other topics where when they have a interest. Even paragraph writing. Paragraph writing is a very creative task. So teacher can ask learners to write a paragraph, read aloud to improve the pronunciation. Yes, here we can say that direct method help learners to read to improve their pronunciation. Another method teacher can apply is dictation and self-correction by students only. What we can do as a teacher, we can make the group of some students, just like a group of 5 students, and ask them to prepare any content, just like a dialogue writing, essay writing, report writing, or any other thing, and exchange their sheet in different groups and ask them to correct, and then teacher can correct it and guide the students to make it more meaningful. So this is the way self correction helps learners make their answers error free, or we can say that less error. Teacher can combine direct method with any advanced learning method, and that will make teaching learners centric. So in this case, I can say that direct method is a historical approach, but if you can combine this direct method with the help of latest technological tool, then students have a more interest and classroom will become learner centric. Third, historical trends of English language learning is audio lingual method. Yes, in this name we find, or anyone can guess easily, that learning via listening. Of course, this is the meaning. Audio lingual method is one more style of teaching foreign language. It was founded during the Second World War of military purpose in USA, and it was very well known in 1960s but died out in the 1970s. How it works? This method is based on behavioristic method, and the prime objective is to focus on the learner's pronunciation and train their ability of listening a dialogue. Yes, here I would like to make one note that nowadays students are preparing for IELTS exam, and where they are giving test for listening, and that entire test is based on listening the audio and attempting the answer. This type of a test helps students to concentrate, to understand the language and try to understand the accent of native speaker also. Same here. This approach to language learning is similar to direct method. Furthermore, this trend of language learning hardly uses grammar instructions. Here, students simply try to memorize the content. The positive side of learning with this way is that it allows pupil or students to communicate quickly. Yes, to learn any language, to be have powerful in the listening is very important, as it is noted that to speak powerful, a person should listen powerful, and to write powerful, person should read powerful. So here in this audiolingual method, so those teachers are teaching their students with the audiolingual method in their classroom. They can communicate very quickly. And what type of procedures, steps or techniques teacher can apply in their classroom when they want to use audiolingual method. So here are some techniques, some procedures that teacher can use in their classroom whenever they want to use audiolingual method. First, hear a dialogue and complete the conversation. Here, instead of recording a teacher sound, that means instead of recording teacher sound, we can ask student to record his or her voice and ask other student to complete the exercise which has been given by the teacher. This way, what happen? Students can get chance to improve the pronunciation and other student can do it a very better way because the dialogue has been spoken by the students or clear. So, the first method that any teacher can apply in audiolingual method is hear dialogue and complete the conversation. The second method the teacher can apply is repeat the dialogue. What type of exercise a teacher can do here? First, teacher record any paragraph, poem or any content from the syllabus and send it to the students and ask student to listen it very carefully, and after some time ask the student to repeat the same dialogue. This way teacher can check the grasping power, pronunciation, and student can speak naturally English also. Practice to use subtitle. This is another approach that teacher can use while applying audiolingual method. So, when some students are not able to understand what native speaker spoke while in their sitcoms, in a movies or any documentary program, at that time ask them to read subtitle, practice it and speak in the classroom. After that, another approach of historical method or trends is communicative language teaching. Yes, we can say that this is very popularly known as CLT. Here I say that many teachers use communicative language teaching method to make classroom teaching interactive and innovative. While learning this method, students have opportunities express their ideas, thoughts and knowledge, and that raise the moral and become more confident while speaking in front of small or a big crowd. This method helps learner to develop their public speaking skill and help them to face the audience in their future career. Teachers should use following techniques to when he or she would like to make the classroom to teach with the CLT, that is communication language teaching. There are certain techniques that a teacher can use in their classroom with the help of audiolingual method. And the first technique is language learning games, whether it can be online or offline. Here, as being an instructor, as being a teacher, you can suggest students to download certain games, and based on that they can suggest students to do certain activities and share their experiences in the classroom. Second method that teacher can apply under the communicative language teaching is picture stripe. That can be in the form of chart, graphics or in the screen. Nowadays, many teachers are showing different kind of pictures in the graphics and ask them to prepare the story. Third trend, that is role play. Another is information gap, task completion information, gathering opinion and sharing, information transfer, reasoning game, and role plays. Role play is a very meaningful activity. Instead of reading the particular characters in the story or in a poem or any one act play or a drama, ask student to perform that role. So in this way, student can remember the dialogue of the particular character and the story also. As per two profound philosophers named Clark and Silberstration, who has rightly said, I quote, communicative language teaching can be understood as set of principles about the goals of language teaching, how learners learn a language, the kinds of classroom activities that best facilitate learning, and the roles of teachers and learners in the classroom. These words of these two philosophers give us ideas about learning and make the classroom learning oriented or activity oriented is very important. Communicative competency. Here we are talking about communicative language approach, where communicative competency is very important. What we can include in communicative competency is how to use English language for a range of various purpose and situation. That means what type of a dialogue, conversations, manners, etiquettes that we can do when we meet people for different purpose in different situation. How to use different function of English language while writing and speaking English. So both are very important, to write well and to speak well English. These approach help us very well to understand how writing and speaking English is important. Another aspect that how to understand different prose, poetry, reports and interviews. Here the meaning of this is that in day-to-day life, people have started to use English as much as they can. At that time, this communicative language teaching approach help learner to understand what has been discussed during interviews of politicians, film stars and any other parties. Another approach is how to maintain communication in certain limitation of language knowledge. CLT also guide learner that when you have limited number of vocabulary, limited knowledge of various grammar rules, how you can mention or how you can do this in a better way, that can help. After that, fourth historical trends of language learning is content and language integrate learning. Yes, this one is not the very historical trend of language learning, but compared to the new tools or trends of language learning, this one has been considered as a historical trends of language learning. Here in content language integrate learning is one of the trends where English language teacher uses cross-curricular content. So, students get chance to learn English from the global perspective. So, CLIL means content and language integrated learning method give chance to learn language at global level. It is an approach where English teaching and learning with the help of second language or third or a fourth language. In content language integrated learning, a foreign language is used as a tool in the learning of non-language subject in which both language and the subject have a joint role. This has been said by Mars. Now the question is how to apply this trend in your classroom. While applying or using this trend, many educators perform or allow students to do following activities in their classroom. First, they ask students to prepare graphs, charts, photos and objects. To ask teacher give certain situation and ask them to collect graph from internet or anywhere else, or to prepare chart, collection of photos and object, and give them a task to speak on it or write on it. Another method that teachers are using while applying this method in their classroom is authentic material, illustrations, maps, demonstrations, photos, video clips, outlines, timelines, flowcharts, mapping, graphic and Venn diagram. So, these are the techniques that teachers are using while applying this method. Or if you are not using this kind of methods, you can also use this method in your classroom. So, these are the methods of historical methods that we consider are that the historical methods of language learning and teaching.